Welcome, dear viewers. My name is Benedict Luswata and I'm a procurement student. I want to welcome you to this show, the Youth Voice Show. Today, as a topic of discussion, we are discussing and we are assessing how to make your 20s count. How do you make the decade a determining decade for your future success? And with me, I have distinguished guests. Beautiful ladies and a handsome gentleman. From my extreme left is Akankwatsa Onesmus from Kampala International University. He is a law student, a final year law student, and he's a single man. He will tell us how he is making his 20s count. Next to him is a very beautiful lady, Angela Mudubirwa. She is an accounting student at Makerere University Business School. That is all I have to introduce you about. Next, this side is a final year law student, a law don. She's Ruth Nakamia. She's a leader and a faith-based encourager.
Am I allowed to wave?
Certainly. And to my extreme right is Patricia Musasizi. She is an educationist.
Exactly.
You're welcome on the show.
Thank you.
1 minute. Say hi to the viewers.
Dear viewers, I want to welcome to the show and greetings to all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm excited that you're joining us this evening for yet another exciting episode about how to make a 20s count. Sit tight and enjoy the show.
Hello, our dear viewers. Come, let's delve into making your 20s count. It is a very, very important period of your life. Come, let's explore this topic together.
I'm now scared.
Why would you be scared?
Because you know when the first people are, I was just like, okay. When all you had to say was very small. Anyway, hello everyone. Thank you for keeping it. Hope Channel Uganda. Please watch, subscribe, like, comment, share. Invite each and everyone to come and watch because we have beautiful things for you all.
My panelists, they look like they want to be TV presenters. Say hi to the viewers, Patricia.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I'm happy to be here. Listen and learn something.
All right, we shall dive right into the subject matter. Onesmus,
Yes, please.
how are you making your 20s count?
Well, I've invested a lot in my 20s. Mainly, first and foremost, I'm investing in my academic career.
Academics.
Yes, I'm utilizing my 20s to pursue, I have a diploma, I'm finalizing my Bachelor of Laws, I'm doing another bachelor's in BBA. I'm investing in my academic career to gain more knowledge that is going to help me along the way.
That's impressive.
So I'm learning these soft skills in academics, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and when the journey is over, then I'll run on
I'll
the next
switch
race.
to this side. Patricia, how are you making your 20s count? Spiritually.
Well,
I want to be very specific.
okay. With that, though, I would like to first start with what he mentioned because I had something. Making my 20s count, first of all, I'm studying, yes, education, but of course there are some other skills that I have, such as plating. So just know anytime I'm coming up with a salon, you know. Yeah, so anyone will come to my salon and you will look so beautiful. Spiritually, making my 20s count, this is something that requires one, first of all, to be devoted.
Okay.
You have to be devoted. That is loving what you're doing. You have to put in your energy when you're doing that. So spiritually, if you're an active member of the church,
You're actively participating in church?
exactly, say singing, specifically people normally misunderstand this because they think being participative is just getting into the singing group, the church choir, or probably preaching. But you can be a smiling face around, you know. People do not only come to church because the preaching is there, but also the smile can bring you there. So I can count on that as I make my 20s count. So as me being an active member, I can bring so many to church. You understand? Yeah.
I want to develop on that story because it seems we have a number of things that we're choosing to make our 20s count. Relationship-wise, relationship is quite a broad aspect. Relationship-wise,
Sure.
how are you making your 20s count?
Now, this is my personal thing. How I'm making my 20s count. Number one, I am being intentional with the people I am keeping in my circles. Even if it's enjoyment, because you cannot have everyone for everything. Even if it's enjoyment, I am choosing who am I going with for this particular, let's say, occasion, or I don't want to call it a gig because a gig is a whole different thing. But who am I carrying along with me? Which people am I keeping in my circles? I am being selective of my friends because the people around you have so much impact they create in your life. So I am choosing the people around me. If you're toxic, I let you go. I am those people. It's okay, you've played your role in my life. It is time
That is
to
the
let
end
you
of your
go.
part.
Yeah, and I believe in that so much. I met you. I have learned this from you. Bye. Peacefully.
No second chance.
Many a
I learned
times,
to walk away.
many a times, when people are getting into their late 20s, just to emphasize the point of relationship, most are targeting to get married by the evenings of their 20 decades. Is that the same with you?
Well, I personally believe the right time to get married is when you're ready, not the age.
When are you going to
Ah,
be ready?
exactly.
So you
When are you going to be ready?
No, actually, the people who get married at 18, the people who
Yeah.
get married at 20,
True.
and there is someone going to get married at 40.
Okay.
So
That's
the
true.
right time to get married is when you're ready.
How are you making your 20s count
How
in
make-
relation
in
wise?
relationship.
Yes,
Yeah,
relation-wise.
in relation-wise. So first of all, not to differ so much from what Ruth has said, I mind the people I keep
the
around
circles.
me. Yes. So I'm one kind of this person who will not, I don't want to say it in this way. Okay, I'm looking for the best way I can make it not sound so.
Okay.
What I mean?
So, no, you're overlooking at me.
Just say it the way it is.
Okay. So I'm one kind of these people who want to keep people that I know I'm getting something from this person. There is some value addition that I get when I'm next to this person. So if all someone does is take away even the little that I have, well, not to be so different from Ruth, in God's spirit, we part ways. It was nice knowing you. It was very wonderful. It was a very wonderful journey being with you. But unfortunately, I think
has
that
to
is where
end
your
here.
stop is, and it is okay. So mind the people you are, and together with the parents. You know, when you talk about relationships, it is wide. So what relationship do I have with my parents? What am I building?
Yeah.
You know, in these 20s, we are growing up. We are adults. We're adults. We are joining into a world where we're going to be independent. We are already independent, never know.
Okay.
So what relationship do you have with your parents? Are you still behaving like the other teenager that they have? So personally, I'm having a very good relationship with my parents. I tell them, I'm very open to them.
Your intention on having good
Exactly.
relationship.
This is what I want to do. I want to do this. I want to do this. So they no longer look at me as the other small girl over there.
I want to get Ruth. You had a submission, but allow me give you this other direction.
Okay.
Does this mean, because you mentioned intentionality in making your 20s count in relationship wise, does that mean we have to study our inner selves? Because sometimes you are not intentional on something that you would not want. Does that require you to know your inner self to make the 20s count?
Well, with the 20s are a period in your life where you're supposed to be discovering who
Discovering, okay.
you are supposed to be developing, you are supposed to be growing. I was talking to someone and they told me that it's in the 20s that you're starting to mature.
Okay.
Yes, at 18 you're maturing, but now here you're, I think, standing out as a mature person, as an adult. You're at some point you're semi-independent, yeah.
Yes,
So it's in your 20s that you're standing out. So it's so important for you to discover who you are, because when you discover, then you're going to know what you want, what you need, what you're letting go of, what you're keeping. Yeah. So it's important.
Yes, Patricia.
I would like to say something about the circles, that is
Please
in
do,
terms
please
of the
do.
relationships. As people in 20s, there are things that we need to create. We do not have to just stay in our circles with, like, you specify with the people that I'm only with 20s, because that is your age.
Your peers.
That is
Your
not
peers.
good. You have to build connections. You have to relate with elderly people, because probably you get good advice from them, and they actually, I know, and they actually will connect you to bigger things. So when you do that, those relationships will help you grow bigger.
And also, by the way, uneducated people. It really matters a lot. You see, uneducated people, we have this mentality, most of with the elites that are educated. This elderly person has nothing to tell me.
I know.
Really, they have nothing. They're not even educated. But these guys have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, they've gone through a
Down
lot.
there, if you sit down and listen to their stories, you can pick 1 or 2 lessons that will shape your life in every kind of aspect. So, not only even the elderly, but also the uneducated ones.
Okay.
Let's pick lessons from them.
But just a bit on the relationship aspect of it. When Angela was sharing, she said the marital bit of it is about age. It's not about age,
It's
rather.
when you are ready.
Is when you are ready.
Yes.
Now, of course, my point of concern would be, when am I ready? I can be ready at 40, I can be ready at 50.
Okay.
But to our viewer out there, you could be at a point whereby you want to get married at 25,
Okay.
26, your late 20s, or even early 30s, at whatever point. It's very okay. So, but how are you going to realize that particular goal? So, present yourself. Sometimes we are...
Get out there.
we want, like, at this point, probably I'm looking out for a gentleman
Okay.
that can be my perfect match,
Okay.
if that's a thing, really. And I am in my zone. I'm in my parents' house. Even when I go to church, I don't interact. When I go to school, I don't socialize. Your person is not going to fall from heaven.
No.
They will find you somewhere.
Exactly.
So you need to be somewhere. So go out there, showcase yourself, interact, present yourself, be
Ruth.
presentable.
Ruth, I am wondering why this topic, how to make your 20s count, is dwelling so much on relationships. Does that mean you only do relationships in your 20s?
Actually, I think
As you
Okay.
I think it would be a disservice if we talk about how to make our 20s count and we don't talk about our financial life in our 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, my mom normally says something, allow me say it in Luganda. She normally says, evidence zikolera enjeru.
Yeah.
Like, your youthful age is that time where you have to prepare.
Makes the foundation.
It makes the foundation of how you're
True.
going to live when you grow up. So when we don't talk about this financial life, it will really be a disservice. So
Disservice.
it is in your 20s that you have to make those investments, so that by the time you reach 50, they're not seeing you walking on the streets. We find you walking, maybe you are a taxi conductor somewhere. I'm not offending anyone, but I'm just saying, like, it would leave very many question marks in people's minds, and they find a 50-year-old doing a certain thing that our youth would be doing. So it is in this decade that you are supposed to do things that are going to set a foundation for your financial life.
And you realize in those 20s, on the aspect of finance, this is the kind of age where many youths out there begin borrowing a lot of money.
Those online loans.
Uh-huh.
Every time you're taking a
You're
fee.
taking a loan and
You
then
know,
securing us.
just like the Airtel and MTN thing now. So when you call someone and you want to send them money, you have to ask, "Nteka kula inchi, tuteka ku Airtel."
So you realize in our 20s, that's why we begin
the
borrowing more and more money. And
Yeah.
it's not advised that we should learn how to manage our debts now.
So you
in our 20s, if we don't learn managing debts, you're going to begin being depressed for nothing over loans you took and actually to impress people.
Okay, so you are highlighting a fact that in all these aspects of life, we need to make it a point that we are intentional not to make a lot of mistakes so that we have a brighter future.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question. How to make your 20s count? There's a viewer out there, Charles. I know Charles is watching. He's 32. Does this information fall on the bad side? Does he need this information making the 20s count?
Well,
Does this message fit well with him?
Yes.
How does it fit well with him?
I think sometimes it is never too late to do something.
Exactly.
So someone who is
Actually, all
32
the
years,
time.
actually you should even listen more. Because if you're 32 years, that is not so far away from 20s.
Okay.
So I believe this information matters a lot. Even someone who is old, they can still talk to their grandchildren. They can talk to their children and let them know, you know what, I didn't do this when I was in my 20s, but this knowledge that I have got, I do not want you to repeat the mistakes I did.
Yeah. And the other thing is that change happens at whatsoever point in life. You don't have to wait for, let's say, 25 to be a fit person. You don't have to wait for 30. Or you don't have, if you're out there and you're still a teenager, you don't have to wait for 20 to start saving. You know, as young people, we have this notion of, I'll do it next week. You know, when you're starting the week.
I know.
Sometimes it's not even procrastination. I think it's just something we've come up with of, I need to start at the new month, new me, something like that. Like, Monday is a good day to start things. You can start on a Wednesday. It's okay. You can start in the middle of the month. It's really okay. So at whatsoever point in life, at whatsoever point in time, you can start.
Exactly. And I think it's not all about age, but it is about you as a person. Okay. If you can take a step wherever you are, whether you're 40, 50, as long as there is something on table, you can make a step and make a change in your life. It's never too late. Don't think that everyone that is successful started early in the 20s. No, it's not like that. There are people who were late, but they're somewhere.
Kentucky.
So it's not all about age.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I'm finalizing my 20s.
But just something to add a little on that. I don't remember the exact verse where Paul writes and says, when I was a young person, I used to think
As a
as a young person.
Yeah, sure.
But now that I'm old, and there's something happens, now that you're old,
Do better.
in your 40s, there are things we don't expect you to be doing.
Uh-huh.
Of those in teens, 19s, early 20s, there are things that we expect you to be doing as an old person, as you're focusing on making yourself a better person.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
As I finalize with my 20s, I am finalizing my 20s. I chose to be intentional about my health because I realized my health is the entire foundation that will support all the other things to come true. It does not matter it won't matter if financially I'm well and I have a sick heart. It won't matter if I am financially well and my liver won't sustain me to use those finances. I think it is also a very good venture to be intentional on your health and wellness because it is a foundation for your life in future.
True.
It is a basis for all these other, because even the Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 19 that the body is a temple of the Lord. So you ought to protect it as the breeding ground for any other. As we take a short break, stay tuned. Our channel is 241 on StarTimes. It is 821 on GoTV and 21 free to air. You can join the conversation as well at our YouTube channel. Comment, because I know we can't exhaust all this.
Yeah, sure.
Continue watching. Stay blessed. Welcome back, dear viewers. We take a deep dive into what we have been talking about, how to make your 20s count and determining the determining decade. We covered how to make your 20s count in your relationship, how to make your 20s count spiritually, career-wise, and financially. While we were leaving, we left a hot plate for health. And almost each and every one here during the break was all over my shirt trying to speak something. Ruth.
Well, in my 20s, something that I am doing intentionally,
Health-wise.
health-wise,
Yes.
I do simple exercises. Now, as young people, yeah, they are beginner exercises. You know, sometimes people have this excuse of, I cannot go to the gym, I don't have a gym around me, I don't even have money, I don't have what to put on. But why I'm saying simple is that there are those small things that you can do.
Start
and
small.
yeah, they keep you fit. So like, for instance, this very week, I think yesterday, when I was heading to campus, so there's a security guard. I have never seen him my whole campus life, but I think he actually sees me every day.
Okay.
And as you're heading to my campus, there's a hill. So every time I get to the hill, now after the hill, I get to the gate, I'm always panting like, I am tired. So this gentleman, so yesterday the gentleman was telling me, Madam, relax. But for you, every time you get here, you're always tired. Like before I even present my ID, I need a few minutes to fast.
To first relax.
Yeah. So this morning, as I was praying, I was telling God, you know what? Thank you for this body because it has supported me.
Okay.
And after my prayers, I was telling my body, thank you for carrying me through all this. People don't see the work that we do because it seems small, but the good thing, the beauty of it is that we do the work. So sometimes the results of exercises don't come there and then.
Yeah, sure.
But provided you're doing something, however small, it has an impact. The results will come, but just start. So with my 20s, I'm really doing the exercises, however small.
You get up in the morning and do those pull-ups and press-ups?
She said
Pull-ups.
Pull-ups and
Because, no, because
Baby exercises.
beginner exercises.
She can be dancing.
Apart-
Dance. P
Yeah,
exercises.
then of course I have a jump
you
rope,
jump.
so I do skip my rope.
Skipping.
Yeah.
There's an
that's
acronym to
wonderful.
make it a point, like to make your health count in the 20s. It's called New Start. A New Start, the E in the New Start is talking about exercises.
Exercise,
I think
yeah.
it is paramount to keep our health and wellness up there because, as we said, it is foundational.
Yeah,
sure.
You have something, I see.
Yes, exactly. I do. I have to talk about the eating habits, health-wise, because when we talk about being healthy, probably most of the times people's minds click on eating, say, chicken,
Junk
chips.
foods.
You know, that is where people's minds go. But being healthy, you have to mind your eating habits. Mind what you put into your stomach. You understand? It doesn't require you to be having chicken every other day. No, it's not healthy. It's not. Actually, you should have chicken once a what? I don't know what. But once in a while.
That's according to you.
Okay.
Yes, because normally meat or something that is beefy takes long to digest.
Okay.
So you do not have to take it every other day. What? Oh,
Onesmus is listening.
you become a better.
Certainly.
So you have to mind your eating, regulate what you take in, be responsible. Say, Patricia, no, I don't eat this. I can take this, but I don't do this. For example, which guy was it? The other guy in the Bible. It was these three guys.
Daniel.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yes, those ones. When you look at their story, when they were taken into the king's palace and they were given food, they knew what they have to eat. So and from that, by the way, you see that they grew healthier than those that were being fed on meat.
10 times more.
So so it is not meat that will make your cheeks. No.
Daniel.
Actually, on health as well.
One made a statement and said, make it a point that you don't eat what you will require to do exercise to get out of the body. Yes.
And as well, health is diverse, but it's kind of big. And
it's kind of big, but we realize that we start in our 20s to make health count. You won't
in our
wait in our
20s,
50s.
there is something we need to prioritize. That is self-care and mental health and managing stress.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You realize in her 20s, that's how we begin now getting these stressful thoughts. Just like John writes and says, I pray you prosper in everything, but as you prosper in health,
Yeah.
we need to prioritize our health first. What are those stressful thoughts that are eating you up as a young man? In these early 20s, this is why we're exploring the heights of relationships now in terms of the love part of it.
Okay.
And we're not choosing to look at ourselves. So before we realize we're having those suicidal thoughts, we're having those thoughts of being alone.
Even
we're not protecting our health mentally. Mentally.
But also on the point of mental health, I think the kind of content we consume as young people matters a lot. As a person, I don't like watching what action movies. Like
Personally, don't.
But you might be loving soaps actually. And soaps and action movies.
why are you kicking another person? Like, why are you shooting? You know, I of late people are talking about Squid Game, and I was on TikTok the other day, and I just saw a clip. Like, why are you shooting another person? And the problem with this content is that people don't see its impact, but there is an impact.
Yeah, sure.
Like, as you're watching the action movie, now which people
You also make moves.
but in those days, I used to hear of John Rainbow. Is he still there? I don't know if he's
You have no idea because you don't watch them. Is consuming content on a disadvantaged side? Because I want to realize the sense that you talked about in the financial literacy case that we're talking about, how to make your 20s count. I've been told to watch 3 movies, particular movies that are talking about the financial literacy.
Well, my point was with the mental health, that some of these things, some of the things we watch can have a negative impact. Yeah, and which is going to become disadvantageous to us in our 20s and in the long run affect. But then it's also the beauty of content, especially if you're consuming the right content, it is going to impact your life and elevate you. As a young person who has a vision to be in the entrepreneurial space, if you are watching content by Vusi, you know Vusi? I think that's okay. As a young person who is in the legal profession, if you're watching Suits, I think it has the legal aspect in it. So it is to an added advantage. True. So not all content is bad, but mind the kind of content you are consuming.
That gets me to quite another concept. Discipline. It requires you to have discipline to intentionally organize how your 20s should be. Okay. Do we have any other principles that we need to carry along?
Well, when we talk about discipline, it is something wide because discipline is doing the right thing even when you don't feel like it. It is doing what is right when everyone else is doing something wrong. It is doing the right thing no matter what other people say or what they think. It is sticking to the truth even when we are in a world where there is a lot of deception, where lies are like voice now. So when you have that discipline to do the right thing, you actually go through your 20s very well. We have very many young people right now who have become drug addicts and are referred to the alcohol and drug unit in very many referral hospitals. So these people did not have the discipline to do the right thing. You may find most of them were maybe affected by this use of drugs because of the peers. It was peer influence. So they did not have the discipline to do the right thing in the absence of their parents. Ruth talked about the 20s as being a stage where we are semi-independent. That means you still have some parental guidance, but it is limited to some extent. So when you have the discipline to do the right thing in your 20s, they can really count.
Is there any other principle we need to carry along apart from discipline?
Mainly utilizing our time.
Utilizing time management.
The issue with our 20s is one. We normally think and tend we still have a lot of years ahead of us. And like I was saying before, by the time you leave your mid-20s, you've lived nearly a quarter of your years on earth. That's if you're going to live 100 years anyway. Because half of 100 is 50 and then half of that is 25.
Yeah.
So we normally think we still have a lot of time ahead of us. And before we realize, time is fast spent. And there is that connection between 20s and 30s. Before you realize you're 28, you're 29, you have nothing. And you've been living a moment. Actually, many youths out there love quoting and misquoting the verse that says, enjoy your full days.
But there is something else they say, but remember.
Exactly, but
Actually, many stop there.
they live out that.
Many stop there on enjoy your youthful days. And then not utilize their time very well.
Honestly, Coach, you're getting a concept hitted in my head so much. I have very high expectations. Okay? Because I know a friend at 25, they were driving. Okay? I also intend to drive at 25.
And where are you?
But I'm reaching 25 and I'm not seeing anything. I feel so much overwhelmed and it is affecting my mental health. I need guidance.
Well, I think true that person is driving at 25. You have to understand, what are you doing to start driving at 25? You are a student, you are not working, you are, I'm not saying full-time student. So someone is a full-time student, not working, no source of income, you just seated, Onesmus called it a one-roomed mansion, in a one-roomed mansion, and you expect to be driving a car. Meanwhile, the person who is 25 that you're talking to and comparing yourself with comes from a rich background, or maybe they already have their personal investments. You know, some people are born planned kids, and you're comparing yourself with the same person. So what you have to understand yourself, know yourself, like Ruth said as we were starting. Know yourself, know what you have, what resources do you have at your disposal. Is that goal really attainable? Is it realistic? When you sit down and reflect, me as Benedict, can I afford a car at this particular age that I'm talking about? If you can, then well. Then if you cannot, please, where would it be there? Relax and set a goal you can achieve.
But then the other thing is have your own vision and idea of success.
Okay.
You know, success varies from person to person. When it comes to academic success, someone can tell you, the moment I get a degree, I've attained it.
I'm done.
And then there are those of us, PhD, but now you want to add whatever, you want almost everything. So have your own vision of success. It's going to be what drives you.
True.
Is your successfulness determined by having a car at 25?
Okay.
Because now some of these things are just, we just impart them in our lives. But when you sit yourself down, as you're discovering who you are, as you're having these self-talks, you get to tell yourself these things. You can be like, I'm 70 kgs, but my goal is to get to 60 kgs. Yeah. And when I get to the 60 kgs, I don't care whether you're saying I am still fat. My goal was to get to 60. Am I there? Yes. So if your goal is to have a car at 25, number one, you have to be very realistic. Do you have what it takes to afford that car? Are you going to be in position to maintain it even when you get the car? Because now we don't want you to achieve something and in the long run or in the due course you cannot maintain, and it's actually bringing you down. So sit yourself down, have these difficult conversations with yourself, and be analytical, be very open, be real and raw to yourself.
Yes, I want to make one point.
Yes, Patricia.
Just one line. Because in this thing of you after achieving something, there is something that you need to do, appreciating yourself. Yes, it is a small achievement, but you have acquired it.
Yeah.
That has been your goal.
Gratitude.
Do not look at others. Me, I've got this, and then for them they have something higher than mine. No, don't mind that. You just have to appreciate yourself, congratulate yourself, and you encourage yourself that you have something better.
Yeah.
than that.
Many youth these days are not being appreciative for even the small thing that they have.
I think
and that
that's
is a
because you
door.
keep comparison.
Yes.
You keep on comparing yourself to, like, oh, Angela is like this, me, I'm like this. But we are all
Different.
living in different time zones. We have different timings. Only the
Just
Lord
a second.
knows.
I started this show thinking that this was a kind of a very broad perspective, that making my 20s count involve me networking, moving out there. But I realized it is getting so much personal, getting to me personally. What is the role of mentors in this case? What is the role of those people that I look up to make my 20s count? What is the role, Nesmas?
Well, mentors are there always to guide us in our journey.
Okay.
When we go wrong, either to rectify us. I personally, I'm proud to have my mentor on this panel. Council Ruth.
Wow.
She has mentored me in my journey of
You mentored me
studying
as well.
SYL.
Okay.
Very much we are both lawyers, fine.
She's your senior.
She, just a semester ahead of me.
I remain a senior.
she has mentored me well
Okay.
in the leadership journey of being a senior youth leader. She's trying to rectify my mistakes. Honestmas, do this, do that, do this. Actually, she even went an extra step of saying, I need to sit you down to listen to the goal-setting objectives you have in life. So,
Impressive.
as a mentor in your 20s, it may not necessarily mean they are older than you. You can be of the same age. That person can be of it's likely a little age, but their role is to shape you and mold you into a better person you are tomorrow.
They act like a compass for you.
True.
Well, I want to thank the viewers for being so much with me. I understand it is quite a very big concept for us to break down and analyze. Let us continue the conversation on our YouTube channel, our X and Facebook. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. We shall get your views in the later shows. Now, as we are concluding, I want us to give a brief. I know you're seniors now, how to make your 20s count, but I request we get so brief. What is your personal role? And I'll start with my right. What is your personal role in making your 20s count spiritually? What is your personal role as a person?
Well, personally, I would say, first of all, engage and strongly or build a strong connection with God, first of all. Yeah, spiritually. Because if you're to do this thing of spiritual thing, you really need to have a strong connection with God, because it is God that guides us in everything that we do. So without Him, you might think you're going on a smooth road, yet you are nowhere. So
Financially, Ruth, what is your role as a person to make your 20s count financially?
To make my 20s count, my role is to acquire financial knowledge
Okay.
and practice, or should I say implement, because it is also irrelevant if you acquire and not put in practice. So when I acquire, I practice, I see what works out for me and what doesn't, because what works out for me might not necessarily work out for you, the viewer. So when I acquire this knowledge from the person passing it on to me, I know it has probably worked for them. Now I have to check it. Is it working for me? If it's working for me, that's a green flag. We go ahead.
Okay.
Angela, relationship-wise, what is your role as a person
Well,
to make your 20s count?
My role as a person, relationship-wise, is to get intentional with the people that I keep around me. Choose the company that you keep. You would rather be alone than be with people that take away even the little that you have. Having those fake friends that are very many around you is not something that you can be proud of, because some of us say, I have many friends, I have friends. It is better you have that one friend that is very beneficial to you other than have a bunch of fake friends.
Yeah, sure.
Onesmus,
Yes.
what is your role as a person to make your 20s count career-wise?
Career-wise, I personally, one, build the professional network.
Okay.
Go study. Advance for higher education. If there's any certificate that is around, add it onto your CV. Attain that knowledge. Go add on other books. Do your masters. Do those short courses. And after all that, mainly look at people outside also your career and add them so that you build your social capital in a bigger strength.
Dear viewers, habits make your character. Train right so that you can make your 20s count. I've been your host, Benedict Luswata. I'm a procurement student, a lifestyle coach, and a leader. Stay tuned, continue this conversation on our YouTube channel, and we shall be with you next time. Thank you.